Lost in Translation, starring Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. Lost in Translation is a 2003 film directed by Sofia Coppola. It tells the story of two Americans who form an unlikely friendship in Tokyo. Bob Harris is a middle-aged actor, and he's in Tokyo to film a commercial, and he's struggling with a midlife crisis and a failing marriage. Charlotte's a young woman who just graduated from college and is accompanying her husband on a business trip. Both Bob and Charlotte are feeling lost and disconnected in a foreign city where they don't speak the language or understand the culture. As they cross paths in the hotel bar, Bob and Charlotte begin to develop a deep connection, understanding of each other's struggles. They spend time there exploring Tokyo and experiencing its vibrant nightlife, but they also have quiet moments where they can reflect on their lives and talk about their hopes and fears. Lost in Translation is a meditation on loneliness, human condition, and the search for meaning in life. The film captures this disorientation of being in a foreign place and the way that language and cultural barriers can make us feel isolated and misunderstood. The cinematography and the score add to this dreamlike quality of the film, creating a sense of melancholy and nostalgia and the jet lag in that moment. The movie was highly praised for its nuanced performances by Murray and Johansson and the authentic portrayal of Tokyo and Japanese culture, and this subtle exploration of the complexities of human relationships. Lost in Translation won the Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay and was nominated for 3 other Oscars, including Best Picture. So why is it a good travel movie? Well, I think it really captures the qualities of jet lag and something I like to call reality vertigo. This is the feeling I get when I travel a long distance to a place that's really different from home. In that first day or so, where you feel this sense of how did I get here and where am I again? And I'm betting many of you feel the same way when you travel. So great movie. All right, next movie is Up in the Air with George Clooney and Anna Kendrick and Vera Farmiga. Up in the Air is a 2009 film directed by Jason Reitman. The movie follows the story of Ryan Bingham, a corporate downsizing expert who spends his life traveling around the country firing people for a living. Ryan is obsessed with collecting frequent flyer miles and hotel loyalty points, which he sees as symbols of his freedom and success. However, when his company introduces a new technology that allows them to fire people remotely, Ryan's life is turned upside down. As he faces the possibility of losing his job, Ryan begins to question the meaning of his existence and the relationships he's built with people around him. He meets Alex, a fellow traveler who shares his love for a nomadic lifestyle, and Natalie, a young and ambitious colleague who's come up with a plan to fire people over video chat. Ryan begins to see the consequences of his work and the toll it takes on the people it fires, leading him to reevaluate his priorities and his approach to life. Up in the Air was praised for its sharp script, strong performances by Clooney and Farmiga and Kendrick, and its exploration of the isolation and detachment that can come with life on the road. The film was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and won the award for Best Adapted Screenplay. I find myself relating to Clooney's character sometimes in the sense that I'm always looking for the best deals and ways to earn money and get perks and travel in a higher class than I can actually afford. So a really fun movie. Good to see. All right, our next film is Around the World in 80 Days, the 1956 version with David Niven. This adventure comedy film directed by Michael Anderson, starring David Niven as Phileas Fogg, as a wealthy and eccentric British gentleman who makes a wager with his fellow members of the Reform Club in London that he can circumnavigate the globe in 80 days. Accompanied by his newly hired French valet, Passepartout, played by the Mexican actor Cantinflas, Fogg sets off on a wild journey across Europe, Asia, and America, encountering various obstacles and adventures along the way. This film is based on the classic novel of the same name by Jules Verne, and some great stars in cameo roles, including Shirley MacLaine, Marlene Dietrich, Frank Sinatra, many others. As Fogg and Passepartout race against time to win the bet, they find themselves embroiled in a series of mishaps, including a hot air balloon ride over the Alps and a daring rescue and a mission in India. And along the way, they are pursued by Inspector Fix, played by Robert Newton, a detective who believes that Fogg is a bank robber and is determined to apprehend him. Despite the challenges they face, Fogg and Passepartout persevere, relying on their wits and resourcefulness to overcome obstacles and complete the journey. In the end, they returned to London just in time to win the bet and secure Fogg's reputation as a master adventurer. Around the World in 80 Days is a critical and commercial success, winning 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Score. It remains a classic in the adventure comedy genre and a real testament to the enduring appeal of Jules Verne's timeless tale of exploration and adventure. It's a classic from a different time. This is the movie that made me, as a kid, want to travel the world. And like I said, what a cast. It's been remade many times, so let's not forget the seriously funny remake with Jackie Chan, more recently, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Great flick. All right, our next film is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a 1981 action-adventure film directed by Steven Spielberg, and it stars Harrison Ford as the iconic character Indiana Jones. The movie follows Jones, an archaeology professor and adventurer, as he races across the world to try to find the Ark of the Covenant before it falls into the hands of the Nazis. The film begins in 1936 with Jones embarking on a dangerous mission to recover the Ark, an ancient artifact believed to contain immense power. Along the way, he faces a variety of obstacles, including treacherous traps, fierce enemies, and a love interest in the form of Marion Ravenswood, who is played by Karen Allen. As Jones and Marion traverse the globe from the jungles of South America to the deserts of Egypt, they encounter a cast of colorful characters, including Jones's rival Belloc, and also a menacing Gestapo guy named Todt. Through a series of thrilling action sequences and narrow escapes, Jones ultimately manages to recover the Ark and defeat the Nazis. Raiders of the Lost Ark is considered a classic of the adventure genre, thanks to its memorable characters, iconic soundtrack, and spectacular sets. The film was praised for its perfect blend of action, humor, romance, as well as some clever nods to classic adventure serials. It also launched the franchise of Indiana Jones movies, which is still going today, another one coming out soon, cementing the character's status as a beloved pop icon. It's one of my all-time favorites because Harrison Ford was at his absolute peak in these movies, and for me, these sequences that they show with the maps overlay going from the U.S. across the Pacific to Nepal and then to Egypt, in the several different movies, really galvanized this adventure in my mind around travel. All right, the next movie is The Way, starring Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez. It's a 2010 drama directed by Emilio Estevez and starring his dad, Martin Sheen. The movie follows the journey of Tom, a California doctor who travels to France to recover the body of his son who died while hiking the Camino de Santiago, a famous pilgrimage route in Spain. I lived in Spain for a couple of years, and I've hiked probably about 20 or 30 miles of it. You can do anything from 5 miles, 10 miles, up to almost 1,000 miles. In fact, there are even trails that go out throughout Europe, through France, Switzerland, Austria, even into Slovakia. So a great pilgrimage and just in general a great hiking trail. Anyway, after arriving in France, Tom decides to embark on the Camino himself, carrying his son's ashes and completing the journey that his son was unable to finish. Along the way, he meets other pilgrims from around the world, each with their own reasons for making the journey. He becomes friends with a lively Dutch fella named Joost, an embittered Canadian woman named Sarah, and a really gregarious Irish writer named Jack, played by James Nesbitt. As Tom and his companions make their way along the Camino, they face physical challenges and emotional turmoil, but also experience moments of beauty, friendship, and spiritual awakening. The journey becomes a metaphor for their own personal struggles and a way to find peace and meaning in their lives. The Way is a touching and heartfelt film that explores themes of grief, redemption, and the power of human connection. It is praised for the beautiful cinematography, strong performances, and poignant storytelling. The movie also serves as a tribute to the Camino de Santiago and the millions of people who have made the pilgrimage over the centuries. The Way is a compelling and inspiring film that resonates with audiences around the world. All right, the last movie on our list today is Wild, starring Reese Witherspoon. So it's a 2014 biographical drama filmed and directed by Jean-Marc Vallée. The movie is based on the memoir of Cheryl Strayed and follows her journey of self-discovery as she hikes the Pacific Crest Trail, an 1,100-mile trail that runs from Mexico to Canada. The film begins with Cheryl, a recently divorced and drug-addicted woman, deciding to embark on the Pacific Crest Trail to find herself and come to terms with the death of her mother. As she hikes through the rugged terrain of California and Oregon, she faces a lot of physical challenges, such as extreme weather and dangerous animals, and as well as the emotional ones, including flashbacks to her troubled past. Along the way, she meets other hikers who become temporary companions. She also experiences moments of beauty and self-discovery, such as encountering wild horses and realizing her own inner strength. As Cheryl approaches the end of her journey, she learns to accept the past and embrace her future, finding peace and healing in the wilderness. And the movie ends with her reaching the Bridge of the Gods on the Oregon-Washington border, completing her journey and symbolically crossing over into a new chapter of her life. Wild is a powerful and inspiring film that celebrates the human spirit and transformative power of nature. The book was fantastic, and the movie really did a nice job of bringing it to the big screen. I applaud Reese Witherspoon for taking on such a tough role and outside of her normal comfort zone. All right, bonus material as promised. The Long Way Down with Ewan McGregor. Now, The Long Way Down is a documentary series. I think I saw it on Netflix, and it follows Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman as they ride their motorcycles from Scotland to South Africa, covering over 15,000 miles in 85 days. The series is a sequel to their earlier adventure, The Long Way Around, which documented their journey from London all the way around the world to New York City. Saw it, didn't think it was as good as The Long Way Down. The Long Way Down begins with them setting out from John O'Groats in the north of Scotland and traveling through Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. Along the way, they face a series of challenges, including extreme weather, difficult terrain, bureaucratic obstacles, and they do meet a whole range of interesting people, including fellow adventurers, locals, and aid workers. One of the highlights of the series is the duo's visit to Rwanda, where they witness the aftermath of the country's devastating genocide and meet survivors who have dedicated their lives to healing and rebuilding their communities. The series also highlights the importance of sustainable development and environmental conservation, as McGregor and Boorman visit several initiatives focused on these issues. Throughout the journey, McGregor and Boorman's friendship is really tested as they navigate the challenges of the road and their own personal struggles. The series is a testament to the power of human connection and the spirit of adventure. The Long Way Down is a captivating and inspiring documentary that offers a glimpse into the beauty and complexity of the African continent and the resilience of its people. Well, I hope you liked my list. Please comment down below and let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.